Of all the creators to hit the YouTube scene, there is only one quite like GradeAUnderA, a man whose channel, fanbase, and reputation was a force to be reckoned with. He was a pioneer of his genre and a very unique creator, whose story is intertwined with some of the most impactful and interesting events to occur on YouTube in the last 5 years. It would be misleading to say that his channel is underrated, as when he does actually upload, his fanbase is still there to support him and his content. However, Grade has had a much greater impact on YouTube than most realize, not only shifting the tides of YouTube culture, but also inspiring a new generation of creators who are heavily inspired by his format. Today, most have seemingly forgotten the controversies that once plagued his channel, cracks in the foundation of his name which would eventually turn the public against him. Today, we're going to revisit those controversies in detail, as Grade's history can be seen as a cautionary tale of how influence can become a detriment when you're in a position where everything you do is held to scrutiny. This is the story of GradeAUnderA. In early 2013, the GradeAUnderA channel was created to house joke videos its creator had made in his spare time. He started with two: 9 Things I Hate About the Barbershop and Girly Drinks versus Manly Drinks. In them, he'd talk about these everyday subjects with a lot of relatable jokes told with exaggerated anger. They were very amateur, since Grade had very little experience and was creating them with MS Paint and Windows Movie Maker, but this gave the content its own unique charm as well. The production value was low, and that was part of the appeal.
But by the end of it looks dog shit! What did you do? I blinked to me, and my hair went from amazing to shit!
However, these posts went completely unnoticed at the time, like most uploads from a brand new account. After posting them, Grade seemingly grew bored of the hobby and moved on with his life. The man behind it all was Ram Karavadra, a 25-year-old mathematics teacher in training who had failed his final placement test after disobeying his supervisor, who wanted Grade to give out lessons that he thought were too easy. So, he refused and was reprimanded for not listening to feedback. From this point on, he would work as a tutor. Little else was, and still is, known about him since he kept his real life private, and aside from these 2 videos, had rarely interacted with the online world. Grade's existence seemed relatively normal, and for the next year would remain that way, with him having no reason to come back to YouTube or post anywhere. But everything changed when, through one fateful stroke of luck, the direction of his life would take an unexpected turn.
Manly drinks are just drinks that taste like lighter fluid, or piss. Or lighter fluid mixed with piss.
On October 1st, 2014, a Reddit user by the name of Bonaboy posted Grade's Girly Drinks versus Manly Drinks video to the r/videos subreddit, where it went viral and gained well over 13,000 upvotes. This funneled a massive amount of attention to the now inactive account. After just 1 month, it reached over 10,000 subscribers, and Girly Drinks versus Manly Drinks surpassed 600,000 views. Meanwhile, the replies on Reddit were filled with people praising his style of content and even remarking on the fact that he had only posted 2 videos. Aw man, he only has 2 videos on his YouTube channel. If we get him millions of views, maybe he'll make more. After several weeks of this growth, Grade eventually noticed and was surprised to say the least. It had been 1.5 years since creating these videos, and he'd actually forgotten about the channel entirely. Grade was in the perfect position to try something new, and he seemed to recognize the opportunity he'd been given to build a career for himself on the internet. He decided to post a new video teasing at returning to the channel and creating the content there was now an audience for, which was a promise he kept. Just 3 days afterwards, Grade returned with yet another video where he talked about the Paralympics in the same style as his original 2. From here, things seemed to just get better and better. The channel could have easily died out after the first bit of traction from the subreddit subsided, but with persistence, Grade managed to keep growing. He kept active with a nearly weekly upload schedule, and after 3 months reached the 25,000 subscriber milestone. People really enjoyed the style, and a lot of what he said in his videos was very easy to relate to. There was no goofy vlogger with crazy hair sitting in front of the camera. Instead, he used very crude drawings to represent real-life events that everyone goes through. Grade had found his niche, and was one of the first to pioneer the new genre of video. But things would take an unexpected shift when Grade would be thrown into yet another soon-to-be popular genre: drama. On February 21st, 2015, Grade posted a video called Why I Hate Interviews, where he talked about the common gripes people have when being interviewed for jobs. It wasn't unlike his other videos at the time, but just 11 days later, the popular YouTuber Ray William Johnson uploaded a video of his own that focused on the same subject and appeared to have lifted lines from Grade's video. In later years, Ray became quite infamous for copyright-related controversy, but back then it was a fairly unexpected move, and very sleazy, especially for someone of his size to steal from a much smaller channel. This was why, just 1 week later, Grade called him out for this and compared lines from both videos.
Right, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Hopefully not still in this shithole.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Not in this shithole.
Grade's argument was solid, and despite how much bigger his opponent was, the audience that was paying attention took his side. It was this incident that brought Grade's attention as a whole to the wider YouTube community outside of his own channel. From this point on, they too would become subjects for his videos voicing grievances. This would occur 3 months later, when Grade would break what had become the norm of his content focused on relatable everyday problems by talking about yet another YouTuber, this time Vegan Gains, a creator whose content focused on fitness. He'd become infamous over time for regularly calling out people for almost any reason, and shoehorning in his beliefs that eating meat is wrong to justify it, as well as often making threats toward other channels.
Repsion's a little fucking bitch. If I had the opportunity, I'd kill him. Slit his fucking throat with this knife. Like, he really does deserve to die.
While it's likely that many of these statements were made just to rile people up, it's no surprise that they contributed to the lore behind the Vegan Gains channel. He was an eccentric personality, and as a result, commentary channels became interested in talking about his beliefs and channel. Unlike with Ray, Grade's video on Vegan Gains was technically unprovoked. Vegan Gains hadn't targeted Grade in any way. Grade made his videos simply to make fun of him like he would with any other typical video subject. Most of the runtime was dedicated to showing Vegan Gains' contradicting statements on why he became vegan, which seemed to suggest he kept changing the story to garner attention. Grade also points out that Vegan Gains would call out bodybuilders for using steroids even when he had no evidence, while giving a pass to those who were vegan and did provably use steroids. And these points were proven quite well.
I thought that he was flat out against drug use, but he's clearly not because he likes Jim Morris. But then maybe he's just against lying about steroid use. But then he's clearly not, because Carl Lewis failed drug tests. And he must know, because I found this out from a documentary called Bigger, Stronger, Faster, and he talked about that documentary when he was talking about Furious Pete's supplements, so he can't have not seen the Carl Lewis part, right? All in all, I guess it's pretty much you can do whatever the fuck you want, as long as you're vegan.
Once again, Grade had entered drama and came out looking more credible than his opponents. Not that it was exactly a gamble when discussing Vegan Gains, but regardless, he had succeeded. However, he ends the video strangely by asking for a response from Vegan Gains, threatening to post 2 videos he jokingly claims to have.
But listen, Vegan Gains, if you don't reply to this video and explain yourself and address all the points I brought up in this video and explain your lies, right, I will take it as a personal insult and I will post both of them, right?
This was designed to bait a response, but despite his tendency to declare war on nearly everyone who discussed him, Vegan Gains actually ignored it. Grade doubled down and posted an update 5 days later saying he'll release the 2 videos that Saturday, and that he wanted his audience to tweet to other YouTubers who had made videos about Vegan Gains in order to get their support. When the day came, he compiled these videos into a single upload, but they were nothing more than spliced together clips of Vegan Gains with sentence mixing, making the whole thing a joke rather than an actual threat. Grade himself acknowledged this and said it was all fake.
You didn't think that I actually hacked into the guy's computer, did you? Like, I can just about draw. What the fuck would make you think that I know how to hack, man? Okay, now listen, if I'm honest, I said that if Vegan Gains didn't reply to my previous video that I would then release these other 2, right? Which was a complete lie. Like, regardless of what he did, I was still gonna upload them, right? But what did happen as a result of him not replying to me was that I carried on snooping and I found some more dirt on him. And this dirt, if I'm honest, is actual dirt. Like the video you just seen, that's a joke, right? But this is actual dirt on him, right?
The rest of the video was him roasting Vegan Gains for his YouTube comment history on an old account, which, while funny, didn't throw out any serious accusations despite Grade's claim that he had found actual dirt on him. When this string of events unfolded, most people regarded it as a fun back and forth, since Grade's persona came off as exaggerated for the sake sake of comedy, rather than someone trying to make a serious point. For this reason, and because Vegan Gains was a widely hated figure, Grade once again claimed another victory in the drama scene, and by doing so, he may have gotten the impression that he could call out someone else with the same result. Over the next month, he posted 4 more of his typical videos, and managed to reach the 75,000 subscriber milestone. The Vegan Gains video had contributed to this by netting him more than his standard content at the time. The GradeAUnderA channel was growing pretty fast, but this was nothing compared to what was coming. On August 22nd, 2015, Grade decided to jump into the ring once again and call out yet another YouTuber who would gain an infamous reputation. This creator was Jinx.
Reaction videos are the absolute fucking worst content on this site, right? If you don't know what they are, let's have a look at a typical reaction video.
I'm always so on top of my game. I get the vertigo. My jet's in the terminal waiting for me to
Entertainment, right?
Jinx was the most popular YouTuber in the reaction trend that was growing especially fast in popularity at that time due to how easily they could produce content and easily piggyback off of other creators. As a result, the trend as a whole was hated, and being on top made Jinx the prime target for its most vocal critics. Grade was one of them, and even one of the first. He'd already mentioned reaction channels in a video earlier that same month called 4 huge YouTube channels anyone could have made, but expanded on it further in his Jinx video. He detailed everything that was wrong with the reaction genre, from its blatant abuse of fair use law to its creators' laziness by cutting corners at every turn, all while profiting off of others who put in much more effort. When this video premiered, it took the internet by storm, and not only rallied support against reaction channels, but began to grow Grade's channel exponentially. The video got so much attention that about a week and a half later, Jinx himself posted a response, which was a rare occurrence from him, even while being the most hated channel on the website. But this response did very little to change anything, and arguably just dug himself into a deeper hole.
Now, first thing I want to say before I even start going down this list is the fact that this guy hates me because I'm popular. Because I'm YouTube popular. That is the one reason that it all boils down to. He could say he's not a hater, he could say all of that, but let's just be honest.
Jinx deleted this video just a couple days later. Grade's response, however, survives, since Jinx apparently banned his channel from commenting, and this forced him to speak out in a blog post instead. In the months following, YouTubers like I Hate Everything, Jax Films, and even iDubbbz jumped into the situation and made their own videos calling out Jinx, which only helped funnel traction towards Grade and grew his influence, especially since Jinx would continue to engage with these creators, even being in talks with iDubbbz over a boxing match that he eventually pulled out from. As for Grade, he never addressed the situation with Jinx further, but would speak out about reaction channels as a whole from time to time in combination with other topics. But with his channel reaching new heights and the new influx of an audience craving drama, Grade called out yet another infamous YouTuber the very next month. Nicole Arbour. Nicole was a comedian who'd gone mostly unnoticed throughout her career, since to most she was very unfunny, okay? The most attention she'd gotten was for her relationship with a popular and well-respected creator named Matthew Santoro, who produced top 10 lists in the prime of the genre's popularity on YouTube. But quite suddenly in September of 2015, Nicole would be thrust into the public spotlight and receive a much bigger boost of popularity for very different reasons, when she posted a now infamous video called Dear Fat People. It's essentially nothing more than a 6-minute compilation of fat jokes, with Nicole claiming it was her way of motivating others to lose weight and change their lives. Many names in the YouTube community were outraged, with countless creating response videos to it expressing their feelings on the matter. In reality, this was exactly what Nicole wanted, because Dear Fat People was nothing more than a publicity stunt. A successful one. After years of failing to grab fame in the online world with lighthearted humor and videos promoting positivity, Nicole instead had resorted to the complete opposite in hopes of growing her presence. While many hated her, her own audience was now growing. But as she was becoming a hot topic, people began to dig into her past, and it was eventually discovered that there were allegations that she was abusive during her relationship with Matthew Santoro.
And he was visiting. So he grabbed his luggage from her apartment and said, "I'm leaving." Now, at this point, Nicole blocked the exit, said, "You're not going anywhere." And Matt said, "Get out of my way, I'm leaving." And at this point, he continued to try to leave. She continued to block him, and she struck him in the face, physically hit him in the face.
It was then that Grade jumped into the situation and made his own video on Nicole, neatly compiling the allegations to address what most other responses to Nicole didn't acknowledge, since most just focused on her points in the Dear Fat People video.
It's all just, oh, you're just a mean bitch, and but it's nothing of substance, right? So what I'm gonna do is go through a few things that I found to hopefully discredit Nicole Arbour just a little bit, right? Matt flips his shit and he's not having any of that anymore, and he says, fuck this, we're going home. So they go home, right? Matt goes to Nicole's house to collect some of his stuff and he decides to leave. But as he's trying to leave, Nicole blocks the doorway and says, you're not going anywhere, mate. Matt tells her to move, but she's not budging, right? She says no, and then she smacks him one.
Grade would then talk about Nicole one more time around 3 months later, after both her and Matthew had gone public with their sides of the abuse story. Grade, of course, sided with Matthew. He showed several clips from Nicole that contradicted her later statements about the relationship, which to audiences proved that Matt was the one being truthful. Once again, the public sided with Grade, since he'd proven his point quite well, and it seemed Nicole was the clear-cut villain. These videos also largely contributed to the positive support Matthew was receiving in what was probably a very difficult situation, which Grade was commended for. By this point, it was obvious that he'd recognized YouTube drama was a lucrative market, and even though he didn't switch to doing this content full-time, he was definitely now more comfortable delving into it more often. Grade's crass commentary shining light on the wrongdoings of others made him a figure whose reputation was almost unmatched, and his channel was regarded as a pillar of the new commentary community, dishing out justice to those who tried to get away with sleazy actions. With his channel receiving more attention than ever, Grade decided to open up a Patreon, with early records showing that it was quite successful.
Cause here's your chance! Not only have I made a Patreon, and I don't want to hype this up too much, right? But I have set the fucking best incentive levels ever! Now listen, I love making videos and I love being able to interact with you lot, right? All I want to do is make this my full-time job, right? But I can't do that alone. So if you want to help me out, by all means, go over to my Patreon page, links in the description, and give whatever you can.
At this point, he was sustaining himself quite well, especially after December of 2015, when some of his typical videos would receive massive attention, such as why animal names are stupid and why the English alphabet is stupid. But he also addressed other YouTubers once again when he made Why I Hate Prank Channels, and a follow-up the very next month. It was especially helpful that around this time, iDubbbz had posted his Jinx content cop, and the recently fleshed out commentary community was bringing massive attention to the same issues Grade had chosen to talk about, such as prank channels. Combined with how popular his videos were around this time, the GradeAUnderA account managed to become the fastest growing YouTube channel on the website at that time, gaining over 415,000 subscribers in the month of January alone. As a result, Grade had formed bonds with several other up-and-coming figures within the same community, such as Keemstar and Leafy is Here. This was truly Grade's peak, both in terms of analytics and on a much more influential level in how he was perceived by those around him. But it was around this time that Grade was met with a small yet noteworthy obstacle, a creator known as Reactor. He was a very unknown YouTuber with less than 100 subscribers at the time, who, like Grade himself, had set out to make fun of reaction channels in the past, specifically Jinx. This had been brought about after Jinx had stolen a video of his to react to, and in response, the Reactor channel was created where a backlog of videos was put together in order to add believability to the joke. Sometime during this, he reacted to a video that had gone viral on Reddit known as Bigata H Kai, Yamada's First Time, Mumkey's Anime Reviews number 3, which prompted its creator, Mumkey Jones, to make his own reaction video, reacting to Reactor's video, as a subtle joke at his expense. Reactor then reacted to this reaction as well, but in doing so ultimately exposed himself as a troll. He ended the video by crying in response to Mumkey's words, and would say he was quitting reactions.
Hey everyone, I'm not gonna make any more videos. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, like, and don't forget to subscribe.
At this point, Mumkey saw through the act and responded once again, making it clear to everyone that Reactor, as viewers knew him, was in fact fake. He was simply trolling. The two would later join a live stream together to discuss Reactor's trolling efforts, further highlighting that it was all a not-so-elaborate ploy. But less than a week after these events, Reactor would begin his next stunt by pranking GradeAUnderA. Similarly to how Grade had blackmailed Vegan Gains with sentence mixed videos, Reactor created a fake GradeAUnderA shoutout video by rearranging segments of Grade's narration with fake visuals, and then made a reaction video responding to it.
This is his channel.
First things first, I just want to comment on this right away, okay? If you don't know, one of my favorite YouTube channels is Reactor, right? Despite what they say, this guy is fucking genius. Your videos do show your reactions, but they're fucking genius, right? That was genius, man. That was a really nice touch to the video. Literally over 95% genius. That's something to be proud of. That's an entertaining video, right?
There were obvious clues that the video was fake, aside from the fact that the words were clearly spliced together, such as the picture Grade supposedly used to represent Reactor being a frame of him crying in the Mumkey response video. Despite this, many still believed it was genuine. This became especially apparent when Reactor then paid $600 to have the video put as an ad on GradeAUnderA's channel, which led some to believe that they were watching a real video Grade had put up. Someone even recorded footage of the ad being shown to them, which Reactor then posted a link to on the Reddit page r/videos, and using multiple accounts and changing his IP address, managed to get the video to the front page of the site via upvote manipulation. This attracted thousands of people to his channel, where many insulted him for his actions, but many others recognized the joke and congratulated him for putting on such a performance. The attention was so massive that Grade himself took notice and posted several comments, in which he seems to miss the joke and gets very upset at Reactor. This caught many people off guard, considering Grade was especially well known for his thorough research and comedy. Despite that, he had become extremely upset at what was ultimately a harmless trolling attempt. Reactor's recent interactions with Mumkey made it very obvious that he had a history of trolling people with stunts like these, not to mention the fact that Grade himself had done something very similar in his attempt to get a response from Vegan Gains, which, in the end, just made him look like a hypocrite. Grade ended up only bringing more attention to the situation when he mentioned it in his next video, Everything That's Wrong with YouTube Part 1 of 2, alongside another plagiarism incident.
I've also had some guy use my copyrighted material to put together a fake advert for himself, which deceived and fooled a bunch of people into subscribing to it.
In response, Reactor then made the screen recording of his ad into an ad itself, which he also put on Grade's channel and once again manipulated Reddit's algorithm to get it to the front page a second time. He wrapped it all up on February 10th with a video called How to Grow a YouTube Channel, featuring GradeAUnderA. Once again, he used sentence mixing to create a fake GradeAUnderA segment, and this time as a supposed collab on Reactor's channel, all in an attempt to highlight Grade's hypocrisy on drama when going after other people for using the same attention-seeking tactics he himself did.
I think I get it now. You fuck with other YouTube channels to create controversy, and then when people start fucking with you, you cry for sympathy. I should make a controversial video calling you out, Grade. But what could I say about you? Your life is so squeaky clean.
Now listen, I've shown you plenty of contradictions, but I will leave you with this one last contradiction. I'm not trying to hide shit. I have absolutely nothing to hide, except pretty much everything about everything.
Reactor then manipulated Reddit for a third time to put his video on r/videos as well, at which point Grade seemed to stop acknowledging him. Despite the attention Reactor had gotten, his story went mostly unnoticed by the YouTube community for the time being, who were still in widespread support of Grade. At that time, the positive events surrounding the GradeAUnderA channel drowned out everything else. In his Everything That's Wrong with YouTube video series, which had mentioned Reactor, Grade goes over his fight with another reaction channel known as Tyrone Magnus, and uses this event to voice his grievances with YouTube's copyright system. Tyrone had made a reaction video to Grade's video on reaction channels, which Grade took massive issue with and attempted to copyright claim since it violated fair use. Once claimed, he was annoyed to learn that all of the revenue it had already made during the claiming process had gone to Tyrone, and that once the claim was successful, Tyrone opted to just delete the video since the money it made from then was no longer going to him. This was created in a slew of videos by other influential creators who chose to speak out against YouTube's copyright system at nearly the exact same time, each for their own reasons, such as Doug Walker, Your Movie Sucks, and I Hate Everything, who made a collaboration video promoting the Where's the Fair Use movement to get YouTube's attention with the hashtag Where's the Fair Use. My last video was specifically about this. Check it out, linked below. Grade did something very similar and created his own hashtag, Make YouTube Great Again, which he asked viewers to tweet at the YouTube CEO.
Hashtag Wake Up YouTube. Hashtag Make YouTube Great Again. YouTube is the website that we all use when we're on the toilet and we have a good 30 minutes to waste. Let's not let something as beautiful as that slip through our fingers.
To the surprise of many, Susan herself acknowledged both hashtags 4 days later and made a tweet saying that she was listening. In late April, she followed this up by posting another tweet using Grade's hashtag and telling people to keep an eye on the YouTube creator's Twitter for an announcement within the next hour, which ultimately ended up revealing a change in the copyright system that would allow the revenue made on a video during the claiming process to be given to the winner of the dispute, as GradeAUnderA and others had suggested. This was only one of the many complaints made by creators, many of which are still present today. But Grade and the others did make a genuine impact on the site, and this only helped to cement his position as one of YouTube's most powerful figures. He had a strong fan base that was growing every day and had earned a lot of respect within the YouTube community. But with so many eyes on him and so much criticism directed towards other channels, it was only inevitable that if he made any mistakes of his own, everyone would notice. As Grade grew popular, so too did others in the drama genre, which led to an increase in that form of content. Members of other YouTube communities soon took notice, and many didn't like it. A stigma around drama and the channels who participated in it started to form, and Grade was lumped in as one of them. His association to the content, as well as some of the biggest creators such as Keemstar and Leafy, resulted in him facing a wave of hate against YouTube drama when the genre grew to overtake the website. This reached a boiling point when several well-respected figures on the platform spoke out against the changes, with videos directed at YouTube drama as a whole, and created a divide in public opinion. These YouTubers were Markiplier, PewDiePie, and Matthew Santoro.
Everybody has been seeing the drama, and there's more and more of it every day. And it's starting to make me sad about our community, because it makes me feel like our community is starting to fade.
Like, they worked hard to make their YouTube channels, and they worked hard to make something, and so they want to attack others, and they want to cause drama, and they want to make things happen.
There's even channels now focusing solely on YouTube drama. It's just growing bigger and bigger, and it's created this mob mentality where everyone is so on edge, and everyone is so ready to attack their next target of someone fucking up or doing something bad.
By then, Grade had been trying to keep drama videos few and far between, since he seemed to have learned that his primary content had much more long-term appeal. But this new anti-drama trend caused Grade himself to speak up against these creators, when on May 1st he uploaded the YouTubers complaining about drama rant, exposing Matthew Santoro. This topic was ripe for criticism because, as Grade stated, not all drama was bad, and many of the statements made in these videos were very generic and aimless.
PewDiePie, Markiplier, and Matthew Santoro have recently made videos doing some Fox News level fear-mongering, saying that something as generic and vague as drama as a whole is ruining this website. No disrespect to any of them, right? But I'm just being real, okay? They're wrong here, right? Absolutely wrong.
Unfortunately, Grade made one big mistake in how he handled the situation. Throughout the video, he attempts to undermine their credibility, just as he had with Vegan Gains and Nicole Arbour. But unlike them, PewDiePie, Markiplier, and Matthew Santoro are very well-respected figures. Furthermore, they're not bad people. This led Grade to try to grasp at straws by trying to find reasons as to why they don't have a right to be considered authority figures on YouTube, despite their successful channels and years of past experience, as well as general favorability in the YouTube community. Instead of addressing what they said, he addressed superficial parts of their channel in an attempt to make a point, which failed.
By the way, just to get this out of the way, right? I find it very fucking surprising that people would ever take this guy seriously. Does this look like the hair of someone that you should take seriously? No, of course not!
He also attempted to say that Markiplier having the nickname Markimoo means that he's not credible, and says that all three of them, including PewDiePie, can't claim that having a lot of subscribers, or even being the most subscribed channel, gives them any knowledge on YouTube, because Fred used to also be #1 as well. And Fred is weird, or something. The YouTube community did not react well to this, and it highlighted most of the problems that were starting to show with the GradeAUnderA channel.
This is just one of many examples of him calling out people for what I feel are not the greatest of reasons. But I'm really not trying to disparage the guy. He makes really good content when he focuses on smaller subjects. I feel that sometimes it's better to stick at what you're good at rather than trying to branch out to something that can cause a lot of problems. especially if what you're doing is already working for you.
As for Matthew Santoro specifically, the response was quite different. Grade dedicates the end segment of the video to proving that many of the top 10 lists his channel was famous for were actually plagiarized from a website known as listverse.com. These allegations were arguably the strongest of the whole video, and at the time overshadowed most everything else Grade had talked about. Upon release, it had a huge impact on Matthew Santoro's reputation, especially since Keemstar echoed out the accusations with a drama alert video posted the very same day.
But towards the end of the video, Matthew Santoro got it the worst, as GradeAUnderA exposed him for plagiarism.
The next day, Matthew issued a respectful response with several tweets and made an effort to give credit to all of the lists he'd stolen in the video descriptions. Listverse themselves even came forward and issued a statement thanking the community for caring about the topic. On May 6th, Matthew then posted an apology video and clarified these points further.
And this is not something new. This is something that you guys have been asking for a long time. And to be completely honest with you, I need to apologize because I should have been citing my videos all along. And to be quite frank, it was lazy of me, and I've always had the citations, obviously, because I get my information from somewhere. I just never put them in the description of the video.
In Grade's video, the Matthew Santoro segment definitely carried the most weight, but many were still critical of its inclusion given the subject at hand. He was right, but it didn't have anything to do with anything that was being talked about. It came across as if Grade was just trying to throw in as many negative remarks as possible, even if they were unrelated to the main topic. While the backlash for Matthew's plagiarism was warranted, Grade's motives for shoehorning in an expose on him seemed strange. The topic at hand was YouTube drama, and Matthew's only involvement in it was a generic video where he expressed his opinion that drama on YouTube is bad. Grade blamed it for sending backlash his way, and in turn made a personalized attack against Matthew, something which was not only ironic and arguably validated a lot of Matthew's points about how YouTube had just become a place where people tried to expose each other, but was also seen as very two-faced since just months prior, Grade had been publicly very supportive of him through his abusive relationship with Nicole Arbour. That's not to say that Matthew can't be criticized for something else later on, but by doing so, Grade had opened up a discussion within the community who started talking about his motives. Grade mentions not speaking up during the Leafy is Here vs H3H3 scandal, despite believing a video on it would do well. This supported the idea that he wouldn't make videos on his personal friends, and wasn't just doing whatever he thought would get views. This seems to be even more evident when just 4 days after this video, iDubbbz's content cop on Keemstar was released, and Grade didn't discuss it. Although, when asked, he did respond in a comment by saying that the content cop had no point, since it covered things everyone already knows, and claimed that it was just made to get views. He also states that he makes his own drama videos to cause an impact on the situation, so if he ever talked about Keemstar, it'd have to be for something that he'd done recently, and that the old controversies didn't bother him personally. As the Keemstar content cop grew more and more popular, Grade would continue to be questioned about his association to Keem, at which point he kept insisting that he didn't have a problem with things like his past edgy clips.
Like, one person said, they said, why do you like Keemstar? Why don't you hate Keemstar? And I was like, listen, with all due respect, he's done nothing to me personally. He's given me advice in the past, and he was able to get an offer on the table for me that would have been worth 6 figures, like over $100,000. Yo, I'm answering this question right now. So Untrustworthy Fart donates $5 and said, Detective Butthurt here. What do you say to the charges of enjoying the taste of Keem cocks? Why do I like Keemstar? Is what I'm saying right now, right? So I was talking about how he was able to get me a six-figure deal, which I wasn't able to take, right? But he offered it me in a sense. He had it on the table with another company, right? With Stream.me.
On May 10th, 2016, Grade posted another video called An End to YouTube Drama, which was in many ways a follow-up to his previous video on PewDiePie, Markiplier, and Matthew Santoro. In it, he doubles down on a lot of his previous points, and argues that Matthew Santoro is a hypocrite for calling drama bad when he participated in it himself during past deleted videos. Grade also responds to the people who said that Markiplier's hair color didn't undermine his credibility on YouTube by saying that viewers have double standards for who can be criticized.
Truth be told, it seems as if it's okay to criticize some people, but not others. You will be cheered for calling one person a cunt, but you'll get burnt at the fucking stake for doing the exact same thing to another person. Judging from our past comments, if you make fun of the hair color of a popular YouTuber, that's crossing the line. So hair jokes aside, because that's apparently the same as racism,
I'm just gonna outline my main criticisms of him again. Pause and give it a read if you give a shit.
The video itself seemed to come across as damage control to many onlookers. Although Grade claims that he didn't like drama content, it was only addressing it when he was forced to. After his statements about only talking about drama when he can make an impact, and the way he handled the Make YouTube Great Again movement, it's possible Grade believed he had the power to cause real change, and he felt obligated to get involved for that reason. If this was true, Grade may have genuinely not liked drama content at all, but regardless of his rationale, he couldn't stay away from it for too long. The very next month, on June 19th, 2016, Grade made a video calling out Keemstar, in which he implies Keemstar is a pedophile and had abused his girlfriend, among other things.
Seriously though, right? Keem's just been getting worse and worse, especially recently. A lot of what he's done is privacy intruding, literally life ruining, and YouTube just doesn't feel like the friendly community that it used to be. Well, that shit needs to stop, man, right? Keem needs to go. And to do so involves you guys. He's the cockroach of YouTube. He keeps fucking surviving. But listen, hopefully that'll end with this organized attack that's been going on over the past week or two. First Pyrocynical, then Leafy, and now I'm making a video on Keemstar. Listen, I don't want to make a big deal out of this, right? But this many YouTubers of this size making videos calling out Keemstar, realistically, will not happen again, right? If you hate Keemstar, this is your one chance to get rid of him. So make it count.
Many viewers were taken aback by this video and didn't know what to think. Just 1 month prior, Grade had said he didn't have an interest in making a video on Keemstar unless he could cover something new that hadn't already been said. This ended up only being half true. Regarding the pedophile accusations, Grade states that in 2010, a girl got naked on camera with paper signs covering herself saying "I love Keemstar," and that she appeared in one of his streams while doing so. Grade states that this was originally revealed by Joey Salads in his own video on the matter. Keemstar himself then reacted to Grade's video on livestream and cleared up the rumors.
When Keemstar himself had a girl of the exact same age, 15 years old, get naked for him on a live stream. What?
I had a 15-year-old girl get naked for me on a live stream. Where is the proof?
Oh, what if they find out about my past?
What the fuck is Keem smoking? But this literally happened. By the way, right, all credit to Joey Salads for this.
Back in my blog TV days, a bunch of girls got naked for attention on my stream, all right? A bunch of them did, all right? This girl, all right, was known as Kate, and she had a boyfriend who was, I think, 22 or 24 years old, all right? She was 19 years old, all right? According to her, and according to everybody, and according to her boyfriend, she was 19 years of age. Now, could she have lied about her age? Of course, all right? I'm not fucking getting IDs of every single person on my live stream, just like you are on my live stream right now, and I don't know what your age is. Now, hypothetically speaking, all right, if there is a underage girl in the chat right now, all right, and she decides, you know what, I'm gonna get Keemstar's attention and I'm gonna stream nude with fucking Keemstar fan signs, all right? How does that make me a fucking pedophile in any shape or form? It doesn't, all right? These are false pedophile accusations, and this dude is getting fucking held to every extent I possibly can through the goddamn law. Fuck this guy.
It's also worth noting that the only evidence for Kate being underage in Joey Salad's video was a statement from the person who provided the stream footage. Tweets place him and Kate on Keemstar's stream at the same time, so he was most likely there. But there's nothing concrete to prove her being underage, or that Keemstar was aware of it. Since the only evidence is word of mouth from this man and Keemstar himself, it all boiled down to a he said she said situation, which made it especially strange that Grade decided to include it in the video at all. But the most baffling thing perhaps about all of this is that despite Grade stating that Kate was 15 and citing Joey Salad's video as the source for this claim, the man being interviewed states her age as being 16, not 15.
Now, how old was this girl? She was underage, correct?
Yeah, she was underage. Yeah, she was about 16.
16?
It's unclear exactly how Grade misinterpreted the age, but if it was accidental, the only possible explanation was that Grade was basing the accusation off of a line in Joey's video opening where he misspeaks and says that she's 15 before correcting himself.
And I also found evidence that he does pedophilia stuff. Coming up, I have a video of a 15, 16-year-old girl that he may do something extremely pedophilia. And I will show that to you.
This only made Grade come across as worse, since earlier in the same video, he calls Keemstar out for doing the very same thing. Later on, Keem also clarified that the rumor regarding abuse toward his girlfriend started when tweets were posted on his Twitter saying so, when his girlfriend supposedly used his account. But this was later confirmed to instead be the work of a hacker. Keemstar's girlfriend herself even made a statement that the claims were false. Given that the allegations were either comprised of previously discussed points or were quite difficult to prove, the reason for Grade to have made this video is largely unclear. It's possible he may have believed that the pedophile rumors were true and felt that it was something that needed to be discussed, but what didn't make sense was his shift in viewpoint regarding everything else. In a later video, he claims that Keem's racist clips were a point of contention after having said the opposite in May.
He said some insanely racist shit against minorities, and I'm a minority myself. And people say it's a business decision. These are words that came from his mouth and his mouth alone. Now listen, I'm a pretty laid back guy, right? It's not like I won't be friends with someone unless they're the fucking Pope, right? But am I supposed to stay someone's friend after I see them ticking this many boxes? Really?
Like, one person said, they said, why do you like Keemstar? Why don't you hate Keemstar? And I was like, listen, with all due respect, he's done nothing to me personally. He's given me advice in the past, and he was able to get an offer on the table for me that would have been worth 6 figures, like over $100,000. Yo, I'm answering this question right now. So Untrustworthy Fart donates $5 and said, Detective Butthurt here. What do you say to the charges of enjoying the taste of Keemcocks? Why do I like Keemstar? Is what I'm saying right now, right? So I was talking about how he was able to get me a six-figure deal, which I wasn't able to take, right? But he offered it me in a sense. He had it on the table with another company, right? With Stream.me.
It seems that even Keemstar was just as confused as anyone else as to why this shift occurred.
We've talked about my trolling videos and me playing characters and saying offensive things, and he said he understood it, that he had no problem, and the reason why he didn't make a Keemstar Exposed videos is because he liked my content. Now what has changed? I'll tell you what's changed. They decided to fucking backstab me, throw me under the bus to help their own careers. He is fake as fuck.
But in Leafy's video targeted at Keemstar, the explanation is much different during Grade's cameo.
No, but seriously guys, I've always disagreed with a lot of the stuff that Keemstar's done in his past, but I never saw it as that much of an issue until recently, because recently he's gone from being a complete asshole to doing some borderline fucking criminal shit on the shit stain that is the internet. And to top that off as well, recently I found out that Keemstar's been shit-talking me and one of my good friends, GradeAUnderA, who's also a YouTuber, straight up to multiple different people, and on top of that, behind our fucking backs.
Yeah, basically, I'm hearing that he's been shit-talking us to multiple people, right? Among other things. Dirty rat. But it's not like he's going to be the #1 most subscribed news channel for long anyways. Scarce is fucking killing him recently.
In terms of the borderline criminal stuff Keemstar has done, the video goes into the same general complaints people had with him for quite a while, including the out-of-context racist clips, exposing Pyro's face, which had already been made public at the time, false pedophile accusations, and general threats of doxing or covering people on Drama Alert if they take actions against him. Some of these were reasonable complaints, but the timing of it all was what made the situation especially odd. Most everything covered by Grade and Leafy was already addressed in the Content Cop episode released a month prior, at the same time that both of them seemingly had no gripes against his actions. People argued it was impossible for them to not have known about his previous controversies, and many thought that talking behind their backs seemed like a very generic and petty excuse for them to speak out, if that was really what had changed their perspectives. But behind the scenes, rumors began to fly about why all of this was happening. A small YouTuber known as Tommy C, who was associated with Keemstar via the Baited podcast, reported on a lot of the accusations.
Neither him or Leafy have ever been clear about what Keem did to them. Never. Only that they had talked shit behind their backs.
The attack on Keemstar was openly regarded as coordinated. Grade's exact involvement and motives are still unclear, but much later on, another creator by the name of Nick Cash, or Hey Watch Your Mouth, who had edited Leafy's Keemstar rants, created a video of his own revealing a lot of the activity behind the scenes.
So one night, randomly, I get a call from Leafy. I pick up and I say, yo, what's up? He's like, hey man, what's up?
I want to ask you a question. Because he can't make a decision or get an original idea from himself. So he says pretty much, you know, Keemstar has been getting a lot of hate recently. And I know me and Keemstar are friends. But I've been talking a lot to another YouTuber that I just won't name. And me and him are thinking about making expose videos on him because we want to distance ourselves from Keemstar.
Nick intentionally omits the name of the other YouTuber involved, but most assumed it to be GradeAUnderA, since he'd cameoed in the video and had been transparent about the fact that the two had arranged to create the videos at the same time. No one knows exactly why Grade did it, and when reflecting back on the incident, Grade stated that his reasoning for doing so was very different from Leafy's.
You and Leafy backstabbed Keem and only made the videos against him as a business decision. In short, no, right? First of all, do you see there's subtle difference? Yeah, I'm not Leafy, right? Leafy is a good friend of mine, but I'm not him. Leafy made his video for whatever reasons he did, right? But Leafy's reasons aren't my reasons.
To this day, Grade has never been outwardly clear about what exactly made him change his opinion towards Keemstar from the point in May when he took no issue with his past edgy or racist clips. But Leafy has come forward and given a different answer for why he himself decided to call out Keemstar.
But, you know, for the public's sake, you know, why did you backstab me? In your words.
How can I reasonably justify this? I mean, AdSense was at an all-time high, but...
I think that pretty much answered the question.
He echoed this explanation much later in a video after returning to YouTube in 2020. Whether Grade's involvement in calling out Keemstar was truly for money, or a business move to distance himself from the Keemstar name after YouTubers like iDubbbz and Pyro had called him out, or whether he did truly believe Keemstar was racist and a pedophile is unclear. At the end of the day, the only one who truly knows the answer is Grade himself. Even though his previous statements conflict with one another, it doesn't automatically mean he had malicious motives. It could be possible that he simply changed his mind about Keemstar and didn't want to admit he'd felt differently before. But regardless, the way he handled this situation left the community drawing some very dark conclusions about him. Many were now convinced he was willing to turn on anyone for money, or was vindictive enough to call someone a pedophile after hearing that the person had trash-talked him. And things got way worse, because after Grade's video, Keemstar had the cops called on him several times, and was even investigated by Child Protective Services.
Keem, because of Grade's video, had Child Protective Services come in.
Yeah.
Because of Grade's irresponsibility. All right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that bothers me. All right.
While the pedophile accusations seemed to not hold any weight when held to scrutiny, the fact that Grade had marketed the video around them seemed to cause serious problems. Grade claimed that he did this as an attempt to spoof what Drama Alert itself was infamous for doing, but by going about it in the way he did, his video had the same effect as when Keemstar himself made the same mistake.
The internet is full of idiots, and I know what some idiots are going to say. Fuck you, Grade. You can't complain about being falsely accused of being a pedophile because you called Keem one. I was using Keem's own super thorough news reporting standards against him. If you're so mad at me calling Keem a pedo, which I didn't even do, I just told some stories about a naked 15-year-old girl with his name tattooed on their bodies. All right, let's stop right there. You did suggest, and you definitely insinuated that he was a pedo. And not only that, this wasn't some satirical attack on Keemstar by showing how ridiculous his news reporting. You cited a source. You cited Joey Salads. You cited his Twitter account. And you never, ever in this satire made it apparently obvious that this was satire. You made it as investigating. The title of the video is Keemstar a pedo? Keemstar a pedo.
Showed up at his house.
People showed up at his house for this. You didn't care. You knew this stuff was going on. You've never taken it down. You've been told to take it down. Clown told you to take this down. Clown told you to take this down. You didn't take it down.
Grade refused to budge even in these circumstances, and this took a heavy toll on how the community viewed him from then on. Even as the Keemstar drama began to fade, Grade's reputation itself took an arguably greater hit in the long run. This was only made worse by the fact that around the same time he'd started lashing out at fans on the GradeAUnderA subreddit when they criticized his channel for almost any reason. In one such case, he got particularly angry, and regretted doing so later. So, he messaged a 16-year-old Reddit moderator known as Emily and asked her to delete the thread. She refused and posted the conversation on the subreddit, to which Grade got angry and snapped at her during a stream.
Go read that comment. Go tell that fucking whore that's a mod on my fucking subreddit to link you to what I said to delete.
Over the next few months, Grade kept away from drama and stayed active with several uncontroversial videos. Although, on September 5th, 2016, as the demonetization was initially implemented, Grade made a video discussing it and in one segment calls out a creator known as Mr. Repsion, who was upset his videos were being demonetized.
You cannot be fucking serious, hey mate! How can you complain that advertisers don't want to associate with your ISIS rape suicide video? Listen, it makes perfect sense that certain companies don't want to associate with certain videos.
In this video, Grade goes on to say that he deserved most of the demonetizations for his choice of topics, and that it was stupid of him to complain. But he also adds that someone like Boogie, who creates videos on the same topics, does so in a way that promotes positivity, so his videos should receive a pass, or something. The video does not really make sense. The very next day, Mr. Repsion himself made a response and refuted a lot of the claims Grade made.
Me complaining about the demonetization had nothing to do with those videos, but rather if you took the time, Grade, you would see that in some of those videos, some of them didn't make any sense. One of the biggest videos that didn't make any sense was the one listed at the very bottom titled, "What is under your tree?" Literally opening and showing what I got for Christmas when I lived at my parents' house.
Unlike Grade's videos toward Keemstar, this was a situation where Grade's target was a well-liked figure that was harder for audiences to turn on, and this only highlighted the inaccuracies with his research even more, marking another entry in a trend that began with his criticisms of Markiplier and PewDiePie. It led some members of the community to think that Grade simply enjoyed calling out people and tried to find any justification to do so, even if the accusations fell apart under scrutiny.
When he made that video on the YouTubers are a bunch of idiots for whining about their videos being demonetized, right? He took bumps for that all over. Not too many large YouTubers, but a lot of small and micro YouTubers.
From here, animosity towards him only seemed to grow. Grade had made too many enemies, and right as it seemed he had reached the most unstable point in his career, just 1 week later came the content cop on Leafy is Here.
Today is the day we get to bully Leafy.
When the content cop on Leafy was released, to say it changed the internet would be an understatement. Public opinion on Leafy flipped overnight, and this had a chain reaction that shook YouTube to its core. But Grade was not spared from the effect. His channel lost several thousand subscribers the day after it was posted, despite only being mentioned briefly.
Yo, is this person fucking retarded?
Yes.
Yo, is this person fucking retarded?
Yes.
Despite Grade's limited coverage in the video, he inadvertently tied himself to Leafy when calling out Keemstar. And when public opinion turned, Leafy started to face backlash for the incident, which in turn caused Grade's reputation to take a hit as well. Grade never officially acknowledged this, but later that month released a video called "I Do Not Enjoy Making YouTube Videos," wherein he discussed how content had become a chore for him, and he'd worked so hard on it at times that he'd grown depressed and cut out a lot of vital aspects of his life in order to make time for YouTube. On its own, the video was reasonable, and even relatable to a lot of YouTubers, but the timing made some of his critics convinced it was a ploy to garner sympathy, and people would only draw worse conclusions from here. Content cop Leafy opened the floodgates for people making their own videos on him, and one of which included the Nick Cash video shining a light on the conspiracy surrounding the Keemstar incident, which damaged Grade's reputation further in the crossfire. Later that month, content talking about Grade himself began to pop up as well, with the most noteworthy of which being from 3 sources: Tommy C, who had been making streams about Grade's controversy since late August, as well as the small commentary YouTuber known as Sinnoh, who made a one-off video talking about some of Grade's most infamous actions. And later on, the movie review channel known as Quentin Reviews, who compiled all of the past drama with Grade and made a 2-part video essay focusing on his character. Many of the complaints from all 3 creators consisted of Grade's previous videos pertaining to drama, but Sinnoh's video in particular highlighted that by this point, Grade's Patreon was generating him a significant amount of income, yet most of the reward tiers were specified as discontinued for now.
Here is one of his great rewards. If you pledge $10 every month, you'll go ahead and get a personalized picture with your name in his shitty font that he uses in his videos. Now, that's all well and good. However, the first words say that it's been discontinued for now. My question is, how long is for now, honestly?
Grade's reasoning for this was never fully specified, but the issues with it became apparent when viewers acknowledged exactly how many people were being affected. While it should be taken with a grain of salt, in a stream around that same time, Keemstar stated that Grade was making $20,000 a month from Patreon alone.
Dude, this motherfucker has a Patreon where he's getting like $20,000 a month, but he makes
Like, I don't, like $30 or $30 to $20,000 a month on his YouTube.
When looking back at Grade's Patreon today, it seems that these tiers haven't been altered in the past 6 years at all. The rewards are still discontinued, and his backers have decayed from nearly 550 to 15. In the slew of information being unearthed at the time of the drama, several dark details began to emerge about Grade's past drama, most of which are impossible to prove, but the facts that they were being spread at all definitely worsened his public image. One example was an allegation that after outing Matthew Santoro for plagiarism, Grade attempted to convince Listverse to issue a lawsuit against him.
Well, I've been told by this source that Grade took the next step, that he contacted Listverse themselves and encouraged them very, very, very strongly to sue Matthew Santoro. Well, that's a different level. Now, why is that relevant? Well, I think it's relevant to show you what kind of vicious human being this guy is.
There were also rumors that Grade himself had actually plagiarized content for his video, Why I Ducking Hate Autocorrect. This was because a lot of the screenshots showing badly autocorrected text were similar to ones from elsewhere. But Grade claimed that these texts were real examples of autocorrect mistakes that had happened to him and his friends. The jokes themselves were very generic, so there's no proof that any similarities to pre-existing material weren't coincidental, but the discussion of this at all made him look like a hypocrite. It was also during one of these streams that Tommy C said he thought Grade may have been fired from his teaching job for being vindictive and manipulative, which Grade construed as a pedophile allegation.
He's a vicious, vicious man. And I know why he got fired from his schoolyard job. No, I shouldn't say it, no. But I got a feeling. Because this man should be nowhere near children. Anybody that's manipulative and that vicious and that spiteful belongs nowhere near children. I am glad and thankful for the people of England that GradeAUnderA is not behind a chalkboard.
Shortly after these events, Grade posted a video known as GradeAUnderA versus GradeAUnderA, in which he addressed this point and the others levied against him at the time.
Because I apparently need to address a few things. Allegations. By the way, right, these are some of the actual allegations that I've heard about me recently. Me somehow being responsible for $1 million lawsuit, and also that I'm a pedophile. Listen, some of these allegations are fucking crazy, so I didn't see any reason to address them, right? But as it turns out, some people are actually believing them. Seriously though, YouTube's not the site that it used to be. It has gone from this to this. People are desperate for drama.
These include incidents of lashing out at fans on Reddit and attacking the mod Emily, which he apologizes for. He also denies ever having any involvement in prompting a lawsuit against Matthew Santoro, and addresses the Leafy Content Cop episode by saying he never felt it was worth responding to since he wasn't involved in the situation. Grade doesn't go into details with a lot of the allegations, so the sources of many points are difficult to determine. Although most agree that when Grade addressed the pedophile accusations made against him, he was referring to Tommy C's stream clip talking about him being fired from his teaching job for being vindictive. Soon after Grade's video, Tommy C himself responded and revealed that Grade had in fact been told by Colossalus Crazy much earlier that his remarks weren't a veiled pedophile accusation.
He took that apology and he went to GradeAUnderA and he explained to him that I was not, this is a month ago, I was not guilty of insinuating pedophilia. He told Grade to his face. Yet GradeAUnderA, without naming me, decided to go along with that debunked narrative anyway.
It could be argued that Tommy C's clip had been misrepresented by others who began to spread the false rumor that Grade was a pedo, and this is why Grade still felt the need to address it, especially since he still worked as a tutor, so having an accusation like this floating around unaddressed was risky to say the least. But by not acknowledging its source or addressing Tommy C's intended point, it came across to viewers as if Grade was trying to avoid discussing something he couldn't easily refute. It was also during this video that he doubled down on saying he took offense to Keemstar's racist clips from the years prior, which clashed with his stream from May.
There's like a stream of you literally saying, I don't care that he called Alex the N-word. I want to get my mommy and daddy a brand new house. I want to buy him a brand new house. You literally said that, Grade. And dude, the first conversation I had with Grade was him finding my old trolling videos where I was saying, you know, we rule this world, and I was saying all this crazy shit in a fucking video game as a troll, and he told me, Mr. Minority, GradeAUnderA, that he thought it was funny, and then he went on to use it against me. This dude right here is a lying piece of shit.
When Grade's video came out, it did very, very little to quell the backlash that had set in against him. His reputation in the community had been permanently scarred, and many turned their backs on his channel. But the recent drama wasn't the only factor that resulted in a decline of popularity in Grade's channel. By this point, his audience had become two separate groups, one that wanted drama and another that wanted his signature comedy videos. In the end, trying to divvy up his channel's focus ended up hindering its growth, since it seemed no one video could please everyone, and as a result, he'd lost his grasp on the niche he once filled. During mid-2016, a lot of competition had begun to pop up from those who'd taken inspiration from Grade's content, such as Sam O'Nella, who created informational videos about short topics with a similar art style, and even the storytime animation genre as a whole, whose format is essentially a more polished rendition of Grade's relatable life stories. That's not to say these creators stole his audience, but the growing supply of similar content undermined a lot of what made Grade's channel stick out on the platform, and before long, it was becoming lost in a sea of new creators who emerged and brought their own spin to his style. Shortly after addressing the drama as a whole, Grade shifted focus to making videos on politics in response to the upcoming 2016 election, as well as creating 9 more videos in the familiar style. Aside from an accidental face reveal on Twitch in early February, news surrounding Grade slowed in the coming months. That was until he created 2 videos discussing PewDiePie's drama with the Wall Street Journal, the second of which was released on March 11th, 2017. But what caught people's eye was not the videos themselves, but the fact that no new ones would emerge for quite some time following this. His channel would go on an unofficial hiatus, and it would be 2 months before he would post again. When he did, it was only to post a short video that teased at him posting regularly again, but this never happened. It would be another 4 months before he came back. And when he did, it was only to explain the reasons behind his disappearance.
Right, in short, right, there was some health shit, 2 handfuls of family shit, sprinkle in some other shit as well, mix it all up, put it in the oven at 420 degrees for 4 or 5 months, and the end result was me becoming fucking depressed.
He did tease a season 2 of the channel, and clarified what changes he intended to make going forward. Unfortunately, this once again did not happen. Grade streamed on Twitch a week and a half after this video, but following immediately afterwards, all online activity ceased and he entered his 3rd hiatus. While he was gone, many reflected on the events of the GradeAUnderA channel, and more of his past actions, good and bad, were discussed. In fact, it was during this period of time that Rise and Fall channels became a popular genre in and of themselves, with Grade being one of the more interesting topics for them to discuss. In November, Reactor re-emerged to be interviewed on stream by Tommy C, where he discussed the events of his trolling stunt pulled on Grade. In the time since then, he'd added to the joke further by claiming that Grade had sued him for copyright infringement after the incident, and as a result he'd gone to prison, with Mumkey posting on his channel to announce this. He'd even created a fake Huffington Post article as some kind of proof. After the short documentary by Mumkey Jones started to gain traction, Reactor returned after a 1.5 years of inactivity and claimed to have broken out of prison. The next several videos focused on him living on the run from the law. Unlike a lot of YouTubers who leave for long periods of time, Grade was never forgotten, and the events that followed his hiatus made it clear that his name remained in the spotlight even after months of inactivity. It wouldn't be until well over a year later when on December 25th, 2018, Grade would make his return with a tweet. On the first of the year in 2019, he then posted a new video called Political Correctness Manual 2019, changing the intro to say Season 3 rather than Season 2. The focus of it was social justice warriors, and aside from being a somewhat outdated topic, the video seemed to have been intended for a much earlier release, since all of the visuals within it refer to it as Political Correctness Manual 2018 instead. At the end, Grade says he may or may not address where he was during his hiatus, but the video itself makes no mention of his absence otherwise. He stuck around until March of that year, posting 3 more videos, but then vanished again, beginning hiatus number 4. No one would hear from him for 9 months until on January 9th, 2020, he would appear on a stream hosted by Leafy. In it, Leafy directly poses to Grade the question that's been on everyone's mind.
When are you planning on coming back to YouTube?
I keep doing this shit where I'm back and I'm gone and I'm back and I'm gone, because like the motivation to make videos isn't there, but I'm working on a video right now. Maybe a 2-parter, but in short, it's just like a quick snappy-ish video about OnlyFans, but maybe it comes out, on any given day, I could say this is coming out at the end of the week, but right now I could tell you, oh yeah, it's coming out at the end of the week, but then if I don't work on it, it's not going to come out, but hopefully, what day is it today?
Dude, I'm not going to lie, so many times you messaged me, and you were like, I'm planning on getting this video out, by the weekend and stuff like that.
What is going on with that entire thing? Are you just like planning, like, I'm not trying to like, you know, say anything or whatever the fuck, but I know that after you got your house, like, was it the house or was it more like YouTube itself? But
like not so much YouTube itself, but like when the house came along, like it's one of those ones where, you know, before I was like, oh,
if
this
chat
sucks,
doesn't know,
living
like,
with my fucking parents.
Yeah.
But chat doesn't know what?
If chat doesn't know, like, Grade ended up buying a house, like, when did you end up buying a house? 4 years ago?
4 years.
But yeah, so there was
yeah,
that,
like,
so
I don't know,
like...
7-ish months. But yeah, bought a house, and then I'm like before it was like, yeah, I'm working towards getting my house, yeah, I gotta work hard, but now it's like, I'm not the kind of person that like, do I need a BMW and nice cars and nice this and nice that? No, believe me, I've got like a house. It's not even like fantastic house, it's like a medium tier house. And that's it, man. I've got like some shit little video games. I've got my gym in my garage, and that's all I need realistically. And I'm happy, legit, to live the rest of my life like this. So there's no motivation to be like, I need to do something that I need to work and I don't need to, kind of thing. Not even that I've got like $1 million in the bank, I fucking wish, but at some point I do need to work. But yeah, right now I'll tell you, like I tell you all the time, video coming out this weekend. But yeah, we'll see if it actually happens.
It seemed that Grade was in a comfortable enough position where he wasn't forced into doing anything to sustain himself. So, in the end, the only thing stopping him from creating videos was simply the fact that he didn't feel up to it mentally, and the income wasn't something he needed to rely on like before. He made a return to YouTube once again in May of 2020, where he expanded on the details of his absence with a video about antidepressants, and amended the intro to say Season 4.
Okay, so I've been away from YouTube for like, 3.5 years now, right? Cause I was depressed. And after about 6 months of having it right, I start thinking to myself, this shit sucks. Depression's fucking crap, right? Don't want to do it no more.
In the video, he also says that despite demonetization hitting most creators, he won't change his content. Later on in late June, Grade posted another video and revealed that sometime into his previous hiatus, YouTube had copyright claimed his 7-second outro song, which resulted in every single video having its monetization revoked completely. On Twitter, he showed screenshots of these claims, and attempted to reach out to YouTube asking to allow him to replace the video files with ones that had been tweaked to swap out the outro song. The YouTube creators account did reply, but nothing more is known to have come of this. When watching Grade's videos today, every single one of them in his Twitter screenshots still features the original outro music with active copyright claims. 2 days later, Grade posted his last video before going inactive once again, going into his 5th hiatus. 9 months after this, the channel went active once again, started Season 5, and vanished yet again after 2 more videos before returning for the final time on October 2nd, 2021. For the first time in 5 years, Grade would become the subject of controversy once again. His second video upon coming back was talking about the pandemic, asking the question of if it was overhyped. Despite the polarizing response to some of his earlier work and a large fan bases of those he exposed, his video on this has a much stronger dislike ratio than any other video he created. It also elicited quite a strong response from the community, who spoke up and made several videos breaking down his points. In response to the backlash, Grade seemingly canceled his plans for a part 2 focusing on vaccines. Interestingly, the idea for this video was one he had for well over a year, and even brought it up during a stream with Leafy in 2020. He asked if it was a good idea to make, and Leafy told him to go for it.
Yeah, that's
true. Oh, yo, really quickly, I need to ask you chat something, yeah? Because, yo, check it out, Leafy, and I want to get your opinion on this as well, yeah? There's a video that I want to make, but I'm not sure if it's a topic that'll go down well. Do you know what I mean, right? Because I feel it, right? But I want to make a video about, not like the whole COVID, like, wearing a paper mask, like, how much does that really fucking help? All of this kind of stuff, right? Like, what's people's opinions with COVID? Are they like, yeah, I've had enough of it, man, stupid? Or they're like, no, I want to carry on, it's really scary, I'm scared shitless of this disease that kills what? In UK, what, 7 people a day?
I'd say just fucking, dude, just fucking make the video. You know what, dude, I've had enough. They want to fucking ban me, ban me.
Grade posted 3 more videos in his usual style before disappearing once again on January 2nd, 2020, making this the 7th hiatus to date. His channel has undergone many struggles over the years, but through it all, Grade has still kept his fanbase, and his videos continue to perform well even to this day. These videos don't rival the views he reached in his prime, but they're still decent for any channel his size, especially after so many periods of inactivity. And over time, his comedy videos have even gone on to surpass the drama videos in popularity, since his comedic topics never age. Meanwhile, his drama uploads are largely seen as blemishes on his reputation. In the end, Grade seemed to recognize this and return to his roots. It's clear that this content is what he's best at, and it's how his channel will be remembered long term. As the years passed, most of the drama from 2016 has faded, as creators moved on to other things, leaving Grade to pick up where he left off whenever he feels like making a return. It's still unclear exactly what his motives were at the height of his popularity, but it seems that since then, he stopped trying to expose people altogether, and is now living a happy, private life, making harmless videos at his own pace. In the end, things with the GradeAUnderA channel are the way they should have been from the start. I've been Turkey Tom. Thanks for watching, and until next time, leave me alone.